Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. And we ready, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready. The New York Knicks take on the Detroit Pistons tonight in preseason game number 1. And I'm ready for it, man. It's been 9 months since we've got to see New York Knicks basketball. And I'm excited. I'm ready to go. Ready to go. I don't know what I'm expecting to see tonight. I don't think I'm expecting to see much. I just want to see him play basketball, really, for the first game. I just want to see him play. I'll be watching for a couple of things. But I just want to see him play basketball. I'm excited. Fellas, what's popping? How you guys feel? I see Andy got the Nick. He's all nicked up.
The warm-up gear already, bro.
See, that's what I'm talking about, man. He's all nicked up, ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be exciting tonight. You know what I mean? To see the Knicks finally back in action. We get to see the rooks at play. We get to see which guys actually developed and everything. You know what I mean? So I'm excited for it, man. Super excited for it. Andy, talk to me, man. Tell me. Talk to me. How you feeling for the night?
Bro, like you all see, I got the warm-up gear on, but I think it's already too hot for me. You know, it's like only a couple of hours left before the game. I woke up really early with Freezy's show drive, the night show. Then I hopped on the morning drive, which was
right.
Like, when I go home, I catch the morning drive. So, now it's going to be a pregame show, then an after-game show. So it's going to be a wild day. 5 shows in one day.
Ooh. I don't know how you're going to get into sleep, bro. I don't know how you're going to get into sleep. I don't see it. I'm not seeing it for you. I'm not seeing it for you. Yeah. Nate?
What's up, man?
How you feeling, man? How you feeling?
Good, man. I'm excited, man. I woke up today and said, "All right, we're gonna see some Knicks basketball." It's been forever, man. I can't say the last time I remember waiting this long to watch a Knicks basketball game. I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see the young guys. Excited to see what kind of competitiveness is going to be out on the floor. I mean, I know we're not going to see a lot, but like I told you off stream. I really want to see the competing on the defense. I mean, that's really what I want to see. I want to see them competing on defense. That's the main thing for me, because I mean, you bring in a defensive mind guy like Tibbs, you sure as heck better see some improvement on defense. That's all I gotta say.
Okay, all right, Joe. What about you, man?
Oh boy, Christmas has come early, fellas. I cannot wait. And it's crazy. All Knicks fans are so hyped up for a preseason game, but it's been so long. It's been 9 months.
Yeah, man.
172 days.
I mean, there has been children born who were conceived in March. All right?
Yeah. I was thinking of that too. I was like, man, 9 months, literally.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking forward to it. I want to see. I know we might not get to see a lot tonight, but over the next couple of the preseason games, I just want to see aggressiveness. I want to see DSJ and Knox and Frank just show improvement, show the work that they've done over the offseason. Because they've had 9 months, so it's either put up or shut up now.
Nah, that's it. I mean, that's pretty much it. There's too much, not too much more you can say about it. They've had 9 months. I mean, Tom Thibodeau's been the coach since what? Tom Thibodeau's been the coach since July 30th.
Yeah.
Right? He's been the coach since July 30th. And during that time, the bubble was just starting up. The Knicks weren't doing much. Right? So it's been, just kind of just kind of going along, doing what we can do until finally, we had the draft, and then we had free agency and all that kind of stuff. And you started to see the roster come into shape. It's not a roster that a lot of people, it's not what they expected, right?
It's never been expected like that.
We heard so much about what Leon Rose wanted to do during the offseason, and it did not come into fruition. Right? So they went with you know, they went with players that were going to save their cap, hopefully bring a playoff mindset, let me say, to the team, right? Because as I've said on multiple occasions, the players that we did pick up, you know, they're all players that have been playing for winning teams and have played in the playoffs this year, right? So I think Leon Rose, Tom Thibodeau, they're hoping to bring that kind of mindset to the players. You know, how you prepare for it. You know, how you take care of your body, how you practice, and then the expectations that come along with it, right? In free agency last year, we brought in some guys, you know, that had some numbers behind their name, but didn't have winning behind their name, right? Bobby Portis come from the Wizards. Previously to that, he was with the Bulls. No winning behind his name. Wayne Ellington from the Pistons. Who else did they bring in? Alfred Payne came from New Orleans, and he had not been on a winning squad. Neither had Julius Randle been on a winning squad. He came from New Orleans as well, right? So it seems this year they decided, hey, we're going to bring in guys who are used to winning. Smart move, right? That's a smart move. That's exactly what you want to do.
And they're fairly young too, still.
And they're still young. They're still young, right? You know, Nerlens Noel, he's coming from a winning organization in the OKC. Alec Burks was playing with Philadelphia before he got here, averaging 12 points per game playing for Philly. Austin Rivers was playing for Houston. Warriors. He's been on playoff teams for the last however many years, right? So they brought in some guys that, you know, have maybe some different expectations. And I'm going to say along with that, Guillermo and I were having a conversation not too long ago, right? He brought in these guys, and don't expect that these guys are just going to take a back seat and be cool with, you know, coming off the bench or not playing or not getting a lot of playing time, because I'm pretty sure all of these guys feel like, I just came from an organization that made the playoffs. You guys haven't made the playoffs in umpteen years. What makes you think that I'm going to sit on the bench behind, you know, these players that haven't made the playoffs, right? If I'm Alec Burks, in my mind, I'm like, I just averaged 12 points per game for a team that won 50 whatever games or whatever, however many games that they won, right? I think I can start on this team. Austin Rivers, if I'm Austin Rivers, and by the way, Austin Rivers is likely not going to play today as he's dealing with a groin injury. But if I'm Austin Rivers, I'm coming to this team thinking, I've never been in a situation where I had the ability to be like a primary player, right? I've always played behind Chris Paul or James Harden or whoever it is. So you better believe that he has in his mind that, yeah, I can come here and be a starter and maybe have one of the best seasons of my career.
Not to mention there's no competition, really. I mean, it's all, everybody's kind of all even keel. There's no leg up on anything.
Well, I mean, yeah. You know, we'll see. Listen, they're playing in the NBA. I'm pretty sure there's competition. These guys are talented basketball players. Maybe not as talented as some, but there's competition.
Well, compared to what he's been behind, that's what I meant.
So, you know, so that's, you know, that's what it looks like coming into this preseason game. Of course, we've had 1 week of training camp. Right? It's an odd year. It's a weird year. Crazy year. One week of training camp. 4 preseason games. You know, part of the season, at least for the New York Knicks, is going to look like a preseason game. Part of your regular season is going to look like a preseason game, or it's going to still look like preseason. Tom Thibodeau, he's already said he's likely going to be, you know, evaluating his roster and trying to put together a lineup, you know, at least a few games into the season. For some people, that's scary because you look at, you know, Fizdale, and he said some things, you know, was similar, right, with some of the things that he said. But here we are. Through all of that, here we are. All right, and I want to take a look at the roster, and then we're going to start, you know, doing some comparison and looking at Detroit. So let's look at the Knicks training camp roster. Of course, you got R.J. Barrett. He's a guard forward. We don't know exactly what he's going to be. All right. You got Ignaz Brazdeikis. Is now, Iggy is a question mark right now, at least in our minds as fans. Maybe with the New York Knicks, he's not. But for us, we're probably looking at him and saying, hey, he might be a question mark, looking at, all the players that are brought in. We're not sure what's going to go on with Iggy. All right, you got Reggie Bullock, who was returning from last season. Alec Burks, the Knicks signed him in the offseason. Jacob Evans is no longer on the squad. He's been waived. All right, so he's gone. That's one guy down. You got Jared Harper. He's a two-way player. Right, so whenever the Westchester Knicks start back up, he'll be going back and forth between the New York Knicks and Westchester Knicks. To be honest with you, looking at the amount of guards we have on the team, I'm not exactly sure if he spends any time with the New York Knicks. You got Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. He's in training camp. He's a CAA guy. He's a Kentucky guy. Right? So we'll see what the cards hold for him. I'm going to be honest with you. If there's one guy that I'm afraid could take Iggy's spot, it might be Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. I'm not going to lie.
Well.
Right. You got Kevin Knox II. People are hoping that he's going to have a big year. Frank Ntilikina. People are hoping Frank's going to have a big year. A lot of, of course, there's always a lot of discussion around Frank Ntilikina. You got Nerlens Noel. I believe Tom Thibodeau likes Nerlens Noel, and Nerlens Noel may be the starting center tonight. Got Alfred Payne. A lot of people didn't like his return. I'm okay with it. Theo Pinson. People are wondering why we got this guy on a two-way, but that's Leon Rose's buddy. Leon Rose likes him, apparently for his locker room presence. And his G League stats, we'll give it, and the G League stats, right? He did average 15 points per game, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, or something like that. Shot 37% from the three-point line in the G League. It's the same length as the NBA. Just
what position is he? That's what I want to know.
He's a guard.
Oh.
You got Miles Powell. He's a guy that could surprise and make this team. And, Guillermo asked me, well, we'll talk about it. But Guillermo, he asked me a question last night on Legion of Knicks podcast where he was asking me, who would I really be happy if they showed out and did well? We'll answer that question later. Emmanuel Quickly. You got Julius Randle, Austin Rivers, Mitchell Robinson, who I'm a little bit nervous about Mitch. You got Dennis Smith Jr., Amari Spellman, and Obi Toppin. The coaching staff, head coach is Tom Thibodeau. The associate head coach is Johnny Bryant. Assistant coaches, you got Darren Ehrman, Andy Greer, Larry Greer, Kenny Payne, and Mike Woodson. And then the assistant to the head coach is a guy that I can't really pronounce his name, is Daisuke Yoshimoto. Daisuke Yoshimoto. I think I did it right. I think I did a good job on that one. So, looking at the roster, Andy, how you feeling about it, man? I'm gonna open up the lines to take calls shortly, ladies and gentlemen. But Andy, how you feel?
Yeah, as you're asking me as overall roster or only for this game?
Overall roster.
Game,
overall roster, and then we'll pile it down and look at this game. But overall roster.
Well, if we had this squad and we had to play the last year's squad, I think we would win with this squad. So it's an improvement. But I don't see us like making the 8th seed on the East even, because the East got better. The teams that were a little bit better than us got way better than us. But, it's still an improvement. We didn't get stuck with the contracts, so we're able to, improve even more next year, in which we will have like $70 million in cap space. That's for 2 max free agents, if those are going to be willing to come to the Knicks even, right? But that's another story for another show. But, at least we have the options open, unless we can make that change up, like closer to the deadline. And, we won't have to wait for guys to get into free agency and just, grab a free agent that's under contract, right? That we will like, that will fit the timeline. You know, probably is going to be a little bit older, like 2-3 years older, but could be the leader on this team. And, you know, keeping like a guy like an RJ, like an Obi, like a couple of the young guys we have, you know, that might mesh and might, you know, work out, you know, for us in the long term. For this year, well, I predict we're going to have like over probably between 20 and 30 games. I need to see a couple of games first because, you know, I'm wondering how Thibs is going to build up the rotation, because I'm maybe one of only like not in a huge amount of the fans that would put out a lineup that doesn't have the best 5 players on the squad. I'm guessing Thibs is such a tactician that, you know, he's gonna think about putting like 3 or 4 best guys and keep that one guy to get off the bench and, you know, roll with the second squad, right? So I'm guessing you might not see best of 5 Knicks players in the starting lineup, but he's going to try to keep, you know, at least 2-3 of the best guys on the court at the same time. He already said that he's going to be playing 9-10 guys, right? We know from Autosy that, you know, he's going to play less guys probably if the game is going to be on the line. So, you know, there's still many things open. And for this game, I'm just, you know, I'm not even concerned about winning and losing. Of course, a win would be better. And not only because of the culture, right? Because the guys like Obi, Emmanuel quickly, and even the old guys that were playing last season with us didn't have that feeling of a win. So, you know, every time, it doesn't matter if it's preseason, workouts, training, camp, whatever. If you win, you're going to feel better. And if you're going to be able to withstand that, it's going to be, you know, a better environment around you and a better aura, right? But for me, this game is about seeing if the guys added something to the repertoire. So they have, you know, more moves, more skill set, some skill set improved and stuff like that. But also how Thibs is going to manage the rotations. I was saying on Freezy's morning show or morning drive that I'm thinking Thibs might be using guys like putting them in pairs, right? And later on the season, like in threes, he's going to look which 3 guys on the court mesh really well. And then he's going to add like 2 guys that just going to stick in the, you know, with those 3. And because in this shortened preseason and shortened camp, you don't have time to build the chemistry up with all 5 guys. And if you want to build chemistry in the whole team and 1 or 2 guys are slacking, that's not going to work. That's why I'm going to look if Thibs is going to try to use it in, like, you know, on 2-3 guys, you know, possibly 4 that are going to be playing with themselves really well, and then rotate that 5th man, right? And that's going to build the chemistry, because with minutes, there's going to come chemistry. And if we're going to have wins, you know, in these couple of first games, that's going to be awesome. And like I told you, like streams ago, that these games for the Knicks, not the preseason games, just the regular season games, the first games are really important, because if we go, God forbid, like 0-5, like 2-10, that's going to be awful, because there's going to be tension, there's going to be nerves in the locker room, and that's going to be panic mode really fast. And before Martin Luther King's Day, we're going to have a problem in the locker room, and that's not going to be, you know, good for the Knicks. And I know Thibs has a 5-year contract on this, but we saw, you know, coaches, probably we have like 4 or 5 coaches getting paid this year. So, you know, I understand that probably he has the cachet and stuff that he can withstand that 2-10, you know, role. But if we're going to have like, I don't know, 5-25, I don't think even Thibs is going to stand that. So we're going to have, again, a problem at the coaching staff. So, and I'm really picking Thibs to stay this year, no matter what the record is going to be. But you know, how if the fans are going to have pressure on the franchise, we know that sometimes the red big panic button is going to get pushed in from someone, you know, owning the team probably, or I don't know, the GMs. You never know how it's going to work out. Right.
And I want to give a quick shout out to Julito McCullum, who was in the chat just earlier from The Wire. And hopefully we're going to get him on the show, you know, just talk some Knicks. at some point in time. But big shout out to Julito McCullum joining us.
Huge fan, Julito. Me too.
Yeah, huge fan from everybody, man. So big shout out, and we appreciate you coming by and blessing all of our shows, man, and just showing some love. That's beautiful. That's nice. But let's take a look. Let's take a look at Detroit's roster and what they did, and talk about some of the moves that they made, and then we'll get into. We'll start getting into some more Knicks stuff. We're not really looking at matchups and stuff like that today because we don't know what's what or anything like that, right? We have no clue. So let's just take a look at Detroit's roster, right? And then, we'll go from there. So Detroit's roster on this season, you got LiAngelo Ball. All right, so you got one of the Ball brothers there, Saddiq Bey. He's a guy that I wanted on the Knicks. You guys know that, but it's all good. Saddiq Bey is number 41, number 45. Say cool. They say his last name for me, Andy. Say cool.
Yeah, Sekou Demboya.
Demboya. There you go. Sekou Demboya. They got Wayne Ellington, who's back in Detroit from the Knicks. They got Jeremiah Grant, Blake Griffin, Killian Hayes, who apparently is going to be the starting point guard. They picked up Josh Jackson. They got Lewis King. They got Anthony Lamb, who's a rookie, who just came in. Actually, not long ago, I believe, they signed Anthony Lamb. So, he's probably one of those young guys that's on a Exhibit 10 contract or something like that. Right? Let me see. They got Saban Lee. He's a rookie. You got Rodney McGruder, Zanian Musa, and I can't say this guy's name. Svi Mihajlovic. Number 19.
Mihajlovic.
I was close. Mihajlovic. I was close. You got your little Okafor.
Just go with C.
You got Jahlil Okafor, Mason Plumlee, Derrick Rose, Delvitas, Svidis, Isaiah Stewart from Rochester. He wanted to play for the New York Knicks. You got Dion Wright, and their coaching staff is Dwayne Casey, assistant coach Sid Lowe. You got Sean Sweeney, Micah Nori, Tim Grurich, and Jim Scholar is the trainer. So that's what the Detroit Pistons are looking like right now. Killian Hayes, Saddiq Bey, their key, some of their key acquisitions in the draft. And then as far as free agency, Jahlil Okafor, Jeremiah Grant, some key guys that they picked up. We'll see what kind of roster or what kind of team they're actually putting together. Quietly, though, I thought they had a good draft.
Yep.
Right? Thought they had a good draft. And the offseason, I questioned the offseason a little bit with some of the players that they picked up. They picked up a lot of big men. But their roster's not bad. And Dwayne Casey is a good coach, right? And if he can put some pieces together with that roster, they might be competitive for 8th spot or something like that. Josh, what do you think?
About
the Pistons.
Detroit or about us?
About the Pistons.
Oh, I think they have a pretty balanced roster. I think they have a pretty balanced roster. I believe I like their young talent. I like the direction of where they're going. And they got a coach of the year in Dwayne Casey. I like the fact that they still have Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose was reinvigorating his career. He still can put the ball in the bucket. We all know what he can do, former MVP. And I'm interested to see where Blake Griffin goes. How far does Blake Griffin take this team? Because he is the highest paid player on the roster. Mm-hmm. So I think the Pistons are in good shape moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, looking at what they did as far as the draft, and they picked up some players in free agency. They have some pieces there where I think they can really be competitive.
And Plumlee as well. Don't forget about Plumlee.
I mean, they got a lot of big guys. You know, they got a lot of big men. And let me ask you this, just real quick, and we'll get back to Detroit. Do you think the NBA is trying to transition back to the big man? Maybe not the big man that posts up, but having more size. Because you've seen the Los Angeles Lakers won with size. They were bigger than Houston. They were bigger than Miami. They won with size. You know, it may not have been your prototypical post-up play, but they won by outsizing everybody. You know what I mean? And I'm not ready to just say no. I think that some people are looking to say, you know what? If we can get size, but size that can be versatile, we can win. Because L.A. was big. JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard, Anthony Davis, right? They were big. And then they went back out and they got Marc Gasol to go with Anthony Davis. Right? It's not like they said we got to go small now.
If you put it that way, then I guess that makes sense. But I thought you were referring to like the post up, back to the basket kind of play. The NBA is not going back to that.
No,
like the league is now a guard and a wing league. That's what the league is now. So I mean, yeah, they want bigger wings and they want bigger guards,
right?
And they just want bigger guys overall. But as far as that slow back to the basket play, they're not willing to do that. It's more versatile, like you say.
No, the game is not going to go back to that. I mean, I'm not going to discount that. You know, there's going to be players that can post up, but games are not going to be, or teams are not going to be built around, you know, just a guy that can post up and you throw the ball in the post and wait for everybody else, or wait for the ball to kick out. It's not going to be built like that. Right? The game is too versatile today. But I do think, you know, for a while, it seemed like we were getting smaller and smaller and smaller, right? And Houston tried to go super small till they got wiped up. Now people are like, oh, yeah, that shit ain't working. You know,
depends what pace you want to run, too.
I mean, you got to play the pace that wins. You know what I'm saying? You got, to me.
Or what you have on your team.
I mean, yeah, of course, you're going to use what you have on your team. But when you're building your team, you're going to look and say, okay, what's going to win? Right now, the Los Angeles Lakers won, and, you know, they kind of wiped things up. And I think people are looking and saying, they're big, and they're staying big, right? They may not be posting up big, but they're big. Andy, you were about to say something.
I was just going to warn Josh that he has to think twice before he says something in this chat, bro, because Mark was off for like 2 weeks, and he got those batteries charged, man. So you got to watch it, Josh. No BS calls today, bro, before the first Knicks game, bro.
Yo, we ain't seen Mark. We haven't seen Mark in like 8 months.
Bring it on, Mark. I'm ready.
He been on Twitter spitting his stuff on Twitter. Now he comes in here, you know, with something to say. What's going on, Mark? How you feeling, man? What's poppin' with you, brother? We missed you, man.
Yo, Andy, you're funny. You're really funny. Because I am charged. I'm charged up. What's up, y'all? What's going on?
Good, man.
How you feel about tonight, man? How you feel about tonight?
I ain't gonna front. Detroit put a little team together. When I look at it, that team could be really defensively good when you really look at what they came up with. But that team's gonna lack a lot of shooting. That team's gonna lack a lot of shooting, but they're gonna be good defensively. Because Dwayne Casey, one thing about him, he does get his guys to play hard. And even with Detroit last year, they played hard. So as long as you got players that play hard, but tonight, man, listen, man, I just want to see how certain guys look.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on who they play, like at the guard spot. Personally, me, I just want to see who he's going to play at the guard spot. I want to see who's going to go with the guard spot, how long the guards is going to play. I want to see if he's going to start Randall for some odd reason just because he's going to do it. You know what I mean?
Come on, Mark. Come on, man. Come on, Mark. Come on now.
He got one spin. He got one spin away. He got one spin in his holster for me tonight. Only one spin. Only one spin by him.
For you, in your holster, according, for Mark. That's not according to Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau didn't come out and say he's got one spin. This is according to Mark.
And every Knicks fan that have agreed with me that Julius Randle has to go. So I have a whole army behind me. So, you know, but anyway, I just want to see what the young guy's going to do. I want to see what Obi got. I just want to see if he learned anything defensively that Tom Thibodeau probably helped him with, just about positional and just being at the right spot at the right time. I don't think he's going to be.
Watch me get Mark mad, Andy. He said he did most of it. He said he did most of his learning from Julius.
Listen, man, I seen that today.
Listen, Mark didn't like that. He didn't like it when he seen that today. I know he's seen the interview today. You didn't like that, did you?
Listen, he had to say that because he's there, and I get it.
He didn't have to say that. He didn't have to, he actually offered up that information. Don't even do it. He actually offered. Here, we're gonna listen to it right now. We're gonna listen to it right now. He actually offered up that information, Mark. Don't even fake it, bro. This is him right now.
Steph Bondi, New York Daily News.
Hey, Obi, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, man. Just what are your emotions going into your first NBA game? Does this feel different for you?
It feels a little different, but at the same time, I've been training for this moment for a very long time, and the time is finally here. So I'm gonna have the opportunity to say I've been on the court with NBA guys, and we're gonna work to get a W today. So.
Next question, Ian Bagley, SNY.
Oh, thanks for doing this. Obviously, your first game's tonight, but just in scrimmages and stuff with NBA guys, what have you seen are some of the biggest differences between Dayton and being up here?
It's a little similar to what we've done at Dayton. I feel like the pace is a lot faster. That's something I had to adjust to. The pace is a lot faster at this level, a lot more physical. Definitely have to be able to bang with the big guys. And other than that, I feel like Dayton prepared me for this moment. So.
Next question, Steve Popper, Newsday.
Hey, I know we talk about this being a quick turnaround for you, but do you feel like you learned a lot in this week, with practices?
Yeah, for sure. Coach Tibbs is a great coach, and he knew the amount of time we had until our first game. So we've learned a lot in this past week on the defensive side and offensive side. So all of our guys know what we have to do to win, and we're gonna do everything possible in our power to get a W tonight. So.
Next question, Mike Vorkunov, The Athletic.
Hey, Obi. You mentioned the pace kind of being something to adjust to. Emmanuel said that the other day too. The speed of the game, it was like it took him a minute to get there.
Yeah.
When you first take the court, I guess, for these scrimmages and practice and stuff, like how does it hit you that like this thing is operating at a different speed than what you had at college?
So everybody knows me for leaking out, or not leaking out, but like getting ahead of the defense on fast breaks and getting open dunks. I didn't get not one of those yet, and we had 7 or 8 practices. So it's like you gotta understand, like people these are pros, and their jobs, like they're gonna make sure they do what they have to do to not allow someone else to get an easy bucket. So just little things like that. You see the different speed that this level plays at, and it's a lot different than college. So.
Next question, Mark Berman, New York Post.
Hey, Obi.
Hey, man.
When you were at Dayton, did you play at the Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, or is this your first time this morning?
I've never played in this arena. Looking forward to it though.
Next question, Steph Bondi, New York Daily News.
Hey, Obi, I got 2 questions. First, you're playing against a team that passed you up in the draft. Are you kind of like the kind of guy that looks at that and says, "Oh, like you guys passed me up. I look at everybody who got taken before me"? And the second question is, you've been compared to a lot of guys. One of them is Blake Griffin. Have you studied his game, and what do you think about going up against him?
Yeah, so I don't really like the teams that pass me up. It really doesn't affect me because God has a plan for everybody, and He put me here for a reason. I'm with a great coaching staff and great teammates, so I wouldn't change it for the world. And yeah, a lot of people, I've been hearing a lot of people compare me to Blake Griffin. He's a great player, competitive, and I can't wait to get on the floor with him and learn in the moment. So being on the floor with him is going to be amazing. I can't wait.
Next question, Mike Vorkunov, The Athletic.
With Blake, do you think like you'll talk to him during the game and ask him questions? Is that a thing you do, or is that just not the right time to, like, I guess, talk to someone whose game you might have similarity to?
I mean, I'm not gonna come out and just ask him questions. Like if he feels like he's a vet, so if he feels that he can give me some pointers while we're playing, like I'm open ears and I'm looking forward to it. But like at the same time we're competing. We're trying to both get a W at the end of the day, and that's what it is. So
Next question, Ian Bagley, SNY.
Obi, who have you been matched up against in some of the scrimmages, like team scrimmages that you guys had during training camp, and was that matchup helpful or beneficial?
yeah, so I've been matched up with against Julius Randle, who else? Neural, Mitch sometimes. Like playing against those guys, they just like they give me a lot of feedback. They're great guys, especially Jules. He's been helping me throughout this whole process. Been getting extra shots up and watching film. He's been teaching me a lot. He's been in the game for a little bit. So I'm taking in everything those guys are telling me and getting better every day. So
We have time for 2 more questions. The next question is from Mark Berman, New York Post.
Yeah, sorry, Obi, I got cut off. I was asking you just about this being your first time, in this arena. What kind of nerves, do you have going into your very first, it's a preseason game, but is there nerves? Is there anxiousness? What's going through your mind right now?
I'm gonna be honest, right now I'm not really nervous like how it was in college, my first game. Like I had the bubbly stomach, the butterflies, but right now, like I'm not really nervous just because I feel like I'm prepared. Like I feel like coach, the teammates, like everybody's prepared me for this moment, and when the time comes, like I know what I have to do to help the team. So I'm not really nervous right now. I feel like it's gonna be a different, like if you ask me this 10 minutes before the game, it'll probably be a different answer. But right now I'm not nervous.
Last question from Steve Popper, Newsday.
Hey, Obi, you mentioned Julius being very helpful to you, being a great guy. Were you concerned at all when you come into a team that you play the same position he plays, how he would respond to you coming in as a lottery pick?
Not at all. Just because you coming into a league where everybody's getting money to provide for their families. They're gonna do everything in their power to not get their spot taken. So it's a competitive league, but it's also a brotherhood. So going into this team, like everybody's competing, everybody's doing what they have to do to stay on the court, but at the same time, like they respect you. You're there for a reason. They respect you, and they're gonna help you every step of the way. So everybody's been very helpful since day one, and I feel like they just gonna keep helping me as time goes. So.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Obi Toppin talking about his first professional basketball game against the Detroit Pistons tonight. You take a few things from there. I guess, probably the big thing that you take from there. Mark don't like to hear it, but that's okay. It's cool. It's a brotherhood there in the NBA, Mark. So they're going to help each other out. It's okay. Don't worry about it. That's what they're supposed to do. And so what Mark doesn't like is that, Obi Toppin, without being prompted, might I add you, said that Julius Randle's been one of the main guys helping him out, watching film with him, shooting with him, doing those type of things. Mark don't like to hear that. You know what I'm saying?
Enemy's poster, huh?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Mark don't like to hear that. But, but here's the thing. If that's the type of culture that Tom Thibodeau is building, and hopefully it works, where, I have a guy that could potentially take my spot, but I'm still going to work with him and help him and, try to help him to get better. One, because it's a brotherhood and they need to help each other out. And then two, it makes the team better. Now, this is practice. When games come and playing time starts getting divvied out, things can change real quick. But for now, this is the way that it is. Josh, do you take anything from that, Josh? And then I'm gonna come to Joe.
I mean, to be honest, that's what's supposed to happen. They're on the same team. I mean, at the end of the day, Obi is gonna take his spot, but this isn't nothing new. This has been going on with the Knicks for a long time. I don't believe there has been any type of jealousy or anything like that in the locker room. We haven't heard about that as far as the Knicks is concerned. There does seem to be, and it always has been like this camaraderie on the team. Maybe, because the team has been losing so much, the guys are always been close together. But
we're just losing together.
Yeah, this is nothing new for the Knicks. It's not something that Thibodeau is bringing to the team. They've always had this with Fizdale, with Hornacek, with any coach that they've had.
I mean, true. They've had it. They've had some kind of camaraderie and being in it together. I think that this is kind of new, though, right? Because we haven't had a player where, someone is coming in and like high-profile player, at least for the Knicks, high-profile player, that this guy is coming in to take your position. We haven't really had that on this team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you mentioned that Thibodeau was bringing it up. I don't think Thibodeau was bringing it. It was just the nature of the circumstances.
Okay, I mean, I listen. What Thibodeau's been preaching since he's been here is that you've got to sacrifice, right? We got to be together as a team, and you've got to sacrifice. And if that mentorship, if you want to call it, is part of that sacrifice, even though this guy could be the guy that replaces you. But I'm going to do this for the betterment of the team. Then, hopefully Thibodeau is part of that. You know what I mean? But I agree with you. There hasn't been. People will say different, and people will say that there's been players, a couple guys beefing with each other about this, that, and the other thing. But truth be told, there hasn't really been too much beef going on inside the locker room with this squad, in years. So that's always a good thing. Andy. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me come to Joe. I meant to come to Joe. That's right. Joe, Obi Toppin's first game.
I'm looking forward to it. The only thing I didn't like hearing from that was Julius is working with Obi. Obi learned nothing from Julius.
Facts.
How do you know that?
Yeah. See. That's the unfounded. I'm sorry, Joe. I gotta say it. Dumb stuff that kills me. How can you say that somebody learned nothing from a player that's been in the NBA for 6 or 7 years? How can you sit there and say that?
What has he done for 6 or 7 years? He's been overachieving numbers on bad teams.
See, that's just ridiculous stuff. Even if it's not on the court. He's a guy hold up. He's a guy that's coming into the NBA, has no clue what to expect business-wise, travel-wise, and all those type of things. But he can't teach him anything? That's just ridiculous. That's just hater stuff. That's just hater stuff. That's all that is.
I'm not saying he can't teach him anything. It'd be good for moves inside the post, like inside game, but you don't want to pick up Julius Randle habits, which is spinning moves, not passing out of double teams, not playing defense.
But hold up. So why do you start off by saying he can teach him nothing, and then now say, oh, he can teach him how to do some stuff in the post and this and that? Like that's the type of stuff I'm talking about, man. That's crazy.
Let me ask him a rhetorical question. What if Obi Toppin is better at doing the spin moves and all that stuff that Julius Randle's been doing? What if Obi Toppin is better at it and the team is succeeding because of it? Then what?
Then Julius is learning from Obi, John.
Yeah.
No, I mean, But I mean, but what if he taught him that spin move, but he executes it better?
My coach.
I mean, I just think, I mean, like, stuff like that is just crazy to me, man. If you don't like the guy, cool, whatever. But, you know, don't say that he can't teach him anything. Clearly, Obi feels that he is by showing him the ropes and doing some things like that. Or he wouldn't have said it.
He's teaching Obi how to go to the bench. He's teaching Obi how to go to the bench. What he's going to teach him.
Right.
He's teaching Obi his routines and how to get to the bench.
Right.
He wants that job.
Right. That's just crazy talk. You know what I'm saying? That's just crazy talk. I like to see you guys in the NBA. See what you guys do.
There's a reason I'm not in the NBA. I don't play ball.
Yeah.
I'm not good at it.
I kind of figured that. I need to play this guy one-on-one just cause.
It's all good, Joe. It's all good, man. It's all good, Joe.
Starting guards tonight. Who do you think is going to start tonight? And to be fair, whoever starts tonight probably doesn't mean a hill of beans. I wrote an article the other day, you know, just kind of talking about this basketball puzzle that Tom Thibodeau has, and you know how he's going to be, you know, trying to figure out this puzzle. And what we see tonight is just the beginning. It's the first corner of the puzzle.
Listen, Sam.
Right, it's the first corner of the puzzle.
Sam, let me just help you with that. No one in this chat, no one in your chat wants to see you know who's starting tonight. Nobody want to see that. Nobody wants to see that.
Okay.
You're not going to be happy to see that.
Who is you know who? Just who? Who is you know who?
Don't do that. You know who I'm talking about.
Who? Say the name,
we
bro.
We don't want to see Payne on the floor tonight. We don't want to see him on the floor tonight.
You don't.
Keep him away.
He's going to start, Mark. No, you're going to see he's going to start.
No. Sim, if you tell your chat, how many people want to see Payne on the floor? Say yes and say no. See how many people say no. See how many people say no. Nobody want to see him tonight. Nobody wants to see him.
You don't.
He's the best point guard on the roster.
Yeah, he is.
Listen, I'm saying this to the chat. Right in the chat, do y'all want to see Alfred Payne start tonight?
But listen. Do you want Tom Thibodeau to coach based on the fans, or do you want him to coach based on what he thinks is right? Because if Alfred Payton hold up. If Alfred Payton starts tonight, that means Tom Thibodeau thinks it's the right idea, and it's the right thing to do.
Does Alfred Payton play tell you that that's a good idea?
Are you trusting Tom Thibodeau or not?
I'm trusting
Answer my question. Are you trusting Tom Thibodeau or not?
I'm trusting him, but I don't think Payton's a good idea.
Are you trusting him or not?
No, I trust Tom Thibodeau, but starting Payton, I don't think that's a good idea.
So if you trust Tom Thibodeau, and he decides to put Payton on the floor, trust what Tom Thibodeau is doing.
Alfred Payton play. Do not tell me
I don't care. Trust what Tom Thibodeau is doing. That's what I'm saying.
Don't try to put that. No.
Mark,
don't try to put that.
No. Mark,
know that Payton
you were the biggest proponent of bringing in Tom Thibodeau. Am I right?
Yeah.
You were the biggest proponent. So if you wanted Tom Thibodeau, if Tom Thibodeau puts Alfred Payton on the floor, trust it. That's all I'm saying. Trust it.
You know what? It's like this. Let me ask you a question. Did you trust you trust Greg Popovich, right? Was it stupid to take Tim Duncan the last few seconds out of the game and put D out in for defensive purposes?
Listen, how many championships did Greg Popovich win? A lot.
I don't care.
I'm trusting Greg Popovich.
Listen,
you wanted Tom Thibodeau, trust Tom Thibodeau. Go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, Sim, this is the thing that I was talking before. If this team is going to start on a record like 2-10, and Thibs is going to be sticking, with the point guard that the fans don't want, that's going to get him on a hot seat fast.
I actually don't believe that though. Because I think he and Leon Rose.
I mean from the fans. I'm not talking about the general management because I believe they're on the same page. So they're gonna, leave him there. Fans are gonna be furious if they're gonna see like Julius Randle, Alfred Payton play the two-man game, and we're gonna be like 2-10. That's why I think these first games are really, really important for the Knicks.
Yeah. If you want to see him start, it's okay for you to see him start, but is it stupid? Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Let me tell you something. Let me tell you. I don't care who starts. I'm not sitting here saying I got to see this guy start. I want to see Tom Thibodeau put the team out there that he believes is going to do well. And I'm going to try to trust Tom Thibodeau.
You can make decisions, but that don't mean that it's okay to put that player into rotation with certain players on the floor.
Who says it? Who says it's not okay? Like, is there a rule that says it's not okay to put Alfred Payne on the floor?
Yeah, it's just like saying,
whatever. Go ahead, Josh.
On LeBron James. Is that a good idea to put a rookie on LeBron James?
Go ahead, Josh. If that rookie can play defense, you damn straight.
So this goes with the conversation. This goes exactly where Andy was coming from about, after 10 games where the Knicks are going to be. And this is why I'm so critical about the front office. I'm not saying Leon Rose has done a bad job. I think this offseason he did the best that he could, given the pieces that he had. But the Knicks lack guard play. This is a guard league, and they lack guard play. Alfred Payne is the best point guard on the roster. That's why we're having this conversation right now, because Alfred Payne is not that good, and he's going to wind up being our starting point guard. That's why we're having this conversation right now. And this is why I was a big proponent of going out, making a trade for someone like Russell Westbrook. Because of bringing in someone like that, there's no question about who our point guard is going to be. It's going to be him. You get what I'm saying?
I would have brought in Jeff Teague or something like that.
Forget Jeff Teague, man.
Our guard play, our guard play and our wing play is our liability. I believe in the front court we'll be fine, but wings wise and guards, we are behind the curve.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and I wouldn't be surprised when Austin Rivers gets back if he's in that starting position, right? Because you may not need the a facilitating, if that's what you want to call it, point guard like Alfred Payne, right? With the way that Tom Thibodeau will play basketball, you know what I'm saying? By using a lot of high post action, right? You may not need that kind of a point guard.
You need someone to shoot the ball. You need a guard to shoot the ball.
All I'm saying is you wanted Tom Thibodeau? Trust who he's putting on the floor. Right? And if he puts that man on the floor, trust it. That's what I'm saying, because already, Josh, without even one preseason game, we already questioning Tom Thibodeau.
Ain't nobody questioning him.
Already questioning Tom Thibodeau. You know what I'm saying? Is it right? Is it right? No. Don't tell me. Stop talking. Don't tell me who I like. Right? You don't know who I like and who I don't like. What I'm saying is, when Tom Thibodeau decides to put somebody on the floor, I'm trusting that he knows what he's doing. He's been doing it longer than me and better than me. Let me get to a phone call. Call you live. What's popping with you, man?
Oh, hey, what's up, Sam?
I'm good, brother. How you feeling?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Hey, first and foremost, y'all doing a great job. Y'all been holding us down for a minute, man, with this with COVID and stuff like that. Keep bringing up good content. I appreciate y'all.
I appreciate that, man.
So, hey, Sam, I wanna ask you a question and see what y'all think about this, right? I think everything that we're talking about when it comes to starting lineups and stuff like that, I think it's all centered around what we all feel like is a successful season, because we all want the Knicks to be successful, right? Mm-hmm. But what do we all feel like a successful season is? I was one of the dudes who was pissed off at Josh for so long because he says the craziest stuff. But I feel like Josh, his version of success is us winning like high 20s, anywhere between 500 and like 45% of wins or whatever, right?
Okay.
And just missing the playoffs, like a 10 or a 9 seed or whatever. But I don't think that's necessarily success. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that's success to have Julius Randle averaging 20, freaking Austin Rivers getting 18 or whatever, and just missing the playoffs or whatever, and then getting the 12th pick in the draft or something like that. because then all of those dudes who we're building up so much, they're going to leave in free agency or we're going to trade them or something like that. I think success is should be centered around. I don't think it's going to be like this, but should be centered around hopefully giving RJ and Obi the best chances to succeed, or even Julius. I like Julius a little bit, and we still got him for next year if need be. You know what I'm saying? But giving our core the best chances to succeed, and hopefully they can make us competitive. You get what I'm saying? Versus the vets making us competitive. Because I want to be competitive, but it's how we're going to be competitive. Because if they're learning how to win, I think that is a successful season. I don't care how many wins we have, but the success should be centered around the young players getting better and being competitive. You get what I'm saying? Not getting better and losing by 40, because that's not successful at all. I don't care how many points they're putting up, but getting better and being competitive. I feel like that is what's a successful season for us. I just wanted to see what y'all felt like a successful season would be. Let
me ask you this: what determines that they're learning how to win? What do you, in your mind, what determines?
If we're in competitive games, you know what I'm saying? Like in the fourth quarter, maybe 8 minutes left, 6-7 minutes left, or whatever, and the young dudes out on the floor. We in a close game, or maybe even down by like 6 or 7. You know what I'm saying? But you got the Oregon Rock and stuff like that. Maybe more than likely we're going to lose those games to the Nets or to whoever. But at the same time, if we're in those games, in those pressure situations, year over year, you're going to see us change. You're going to see us go from maybe 19 wins this year to 26 wins next year, to 35 wins the year after that, then to the playoffs, then to being a perennial playoff team. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like those are the nuggets for a successful season. But if we have Alec Burks, and I love Alec Burks. I actually like the signings that they had, honestly. I really like them. But if we have those guys in those situations, then what is that really giving us? You get what I'm saying? Because they're just either gonna leave or whatever. So
yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I mean, I think, for me, a successful season is the Knicks being competitive, right? And starting to form some resemblance of, what it is that they want to do. We were hoping the same thing. It's crazy because we were hoping the same thing with Fizdale, right? That they start to show some things that they want to do as far as a system or a team or how they want to play, a philosophy of basketball. We didn't get that, and so now we're hoping the same thing. And to me, if I start to see that they have a philosophy and a style of play, to me, that's going to begin to translate. It's going to translate to competitive games. May not always translate to wins, right? Because sometimes you got to learn how to win. You got to learn how to get over that hump. It may translate to competitive games, close games where they're close to winning, and maybe they start to pull some out at the end of the season or something like that. We'll see what they do. But, to me, and if they can be close, if they can be fighting for that 10th spot, right, and maybe even get that 10th spot and be able to, be in that playing tournament, I'd really be happy.
But my only thing about that, though, Sim, is if we're in the play-in spot because Alfred Payne got us there or some players who really aren't in our long-term plans, then I don't really see where we're going. You know what I'm saying? Because then we're not necessarily going to be in a position to be able to get a great game-changing talent.
No. But see, I disagree, because now your Obi Toppins and your RJ Barretts and your Kevin Knoxes and those guys, Mitchell Robinson and them guys, they are learning how to play in high-pressure situations, right? You don't get better by playing in 20-point blowouts. Right, you don't get better even if you're playing in competitive games, but you get towards the end of the season and you're just done, and you're not even close to being in the playoffs. Now the whole focus on how you prepare to play the basketball game is done, right?
You become Andrew Wiggins. I agree.
Yeah, you want these guys, even if you've got some stopgap players on your team, you want these guys. these young guys to be playing in high-pressure situations where they have to prepare, they got to get their rest, they got to eat right, they got to study film, they got to be ready in practice, they got to be ready to play defense, and now they're going up against teams that are fighting for a playoff spot as well. They're fighting for a playoff spot. You want those players in those type of situations. You know what I'm saying? Even if you got stopgap players, because now you say, listen, look at how R.J. Barrett performed when we were playing against the Chicago Bulls and that 10th seed was on the line, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Maybe we lost the game, but he dropped 30 and grabbed 8 rebounds and dished out 7 assists. Look what he did. Now we know we got something. You know what I'm saying? Look what Kevin Knox did. Look what Obi did in these type of situations. Now you start to determine what kind of character these guys have on the floor. Not character as far as being people, but character on the floor when you get into those type of situations. And so now you know, well, let's upgrade this spot. Alfred Payne's a stopgap guard. Let's upgrade this spot. Austin Rivers is a stopgap. Let's upgrade this spot. Or maybe I keep this guy or keep that guy because they were a crucial part. Right? And we extend them because you don't know if Austin Rivers may not be a stopgap guard on his team. He may be someone that ends up being here for 4 years. It's just he's stopgap his contract.
I think we're saying the same thing because I'm cool with the stopgap dudes being in those positions, but I also want the young guys to be there too. You know what I'm saying? Like a blend, like a mix.
Yeah.
And I'll get off by saying the only other thing I wanted to talk about was our young dudes being projects, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're a project, I feel like you get better over time. Pascal Siakam was a project, but every year he kept getting better. Frank, I love Frank, man. I don't want the Frank hype to destroy me. Please. I'm a Knicks fan more than a Frank fan, more than a DSB or any other players fan. I'm a Knicks fan. I just feel like you have to continuously show that you're getting better. And I'm not saying just Frank. I'm saying none of our quote-unquote projects are showing continuous growth. And you can attribute that definitely to the coaching for sure, right? And to the instability of the team. But I just really hope that our quote-unquote projects are starting to show growth. You get what I'm saying? Instead of being stagnant in the growth, because then you're not just a project. You are what you are. You just are what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but that's it, man. Hey, I appreciate what y'all doing.
I appreciate
Keep
you, man.
doing it. Please don't stop, even throughout the year and whatnot. Y'all doing like this.
Yeah, we on it, man. We not stopping. We on it. Go ahead, Josh. And listen, I'm a huge Frank fan. Right? Everybody knows that. I'm a huge Frank fan. But I know he's got to show and prove. Bottom line. You know what I'm saying? Let me get to one more call, Josh, and I'm going to come to you, all right? Call you live. What's popping?
Hey, Sam, what's going on, MBK family? What's up? This is Julito. It's not Julito, it's Julito.
Julito, hey, we appreciate you, my man. Appreciate you. Thank you for calling in, man.
Yeah, man. No, I'm a fan of all you guys' work, man. I'm a diehard Knicks fan, 30 years in. So I got a call. I said, you know what? Once the season starts, I'm gonna start calling in to the shows that I love and say my piece on my Knicks and chop it up with you all. So thank you for having me, Sen, and congratulations on all you're doing. And everybody make sure you like and smash that like button for the fellas. But I want to just say I'm excited. Anytime we have a Knick game, a first Knick game of the season, it's like a holiday for me. So I'm extremely excited. I just think what we need to really grasp is that we need to learn patience as Knicks fans. Mm-hmm. We haven't had a player, a rookie contract go past that. We haven't re-signed a rookie since Charlie Ward. We need to understand that we have not had competent coaches up until this year. We have not had coaches who have trusted their players, their young guys, and their system. They actually didn't have a system or a culture up until this season. And we haven't had a front office that is just smart. That's it. We haven't had a front office that is smart, to say the least, right? So we need to trust our players, trust that, like, honestly, I said it in the chat earlier, anybody that was on the team last year, it's a clean slate for me, right? Fizdale, he talked a good game. He did not walk the walk. He let Julius Randle run Tasmanian Devil crazy all season. He didn't allow those players to just be. Everybody was on pins and needles. I was at almost every game, and everybody, just the look in their faces was that they were on pins and needles all season. This season, we have Tom Thibodeau in, who's the star of the team thus far. He will show them that it's okay to play defense and it's okay to work hard. We're not doing this for show. We're not doing this because we want the fans to love us at the end of the game, so we're throwing up 3-point shots from half court. We're not doing any of that. We're working hard, and we're playing with everything we got every night. As you can see, Obi Toppin is excited about a preseason game. You know what I'm saying? Julius Randle, even though his energy is off, I'm sure he's going to go out there and work his butt off today to show that he's not that guy that he was last year. I'm with Mark I don't want to see another spin move. I do not want to see another spin move, but I want to make sure that we trust our players, and that's if we got a 20-10 guy like Julius Randle, let's make sure that we trust him and allow him to be and not go down his throat every time he makes a mistake. And trust Tibbs, man, and trust Kenny Payne, trust Mike Woodson, who took us to the playoffs. Let's trust our staff and our system because this is going to be a new day and age, man. It's the first time we're going to actually have development coaches, developing players. We got Quickly, one of the best shooters in college basketball last year. We got Toppin, who's going to go out there and turn up for his city, New York. And we got players that are on like the second lives of their careers, like Nerlens, like a Austin Rivers, like a Alec Burks, players who want to play for a team that and they're used to playing for teams that win, but they want to make sure that the Knicks win. That's what we have this season, and we've never had that. So I think it's go time, fellas. Yeah, I agree with you, man. I'm excited. I can't wait to see what Tom Thibodeau puts together with these guys. You know, we got some guys, you know, you talked about Austin Rivers and Nerlens Noel and Alec Burks that they've been winning. And I think they have an expectation of winning. And they're going to bring 100%. That expectation here. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. We'll see. But I think that they're going to bring that, at least that mindset. And that's how you start to change that culture with that mindset. And like you said, Tom Thibodeau and his coaching staff brings that kind of mindset too. So I'm with you, man. I'm excited. That's all it is. I think we're going to have a good preseason. And I don't want to see Peyton be our starter, but if he is the starter, it's because Tibbs saw something in practice that he saw he was the best one for the job. And like y'all all been saying, before I get out of here, I'm going to just say, like y'all all been saying, it doesn't matter who starts, it matters who plays the minutes that matter. That's and whoever's out there when it's 5 minutes left, that's who matters in that moment. But y'all, again, I'm here, man. I would love to join whenever I can. Y'all are all doing such an amazing job, man. And I'm here in the chat, and let's get this win today, fellas. Yeah, let's get it. I appreciate you, Julito, man. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put my email in the chat, and then I can send you the link to get in. And anytime we're on, you can jump in. There we go. I appreciate that. Put it in the chat, and I'll jump in next time y'all are on, man. Appreciate everybody. Appreciate y'all, man. All right, man. Have a good one. Everybody, please, man. Please go out, ladies and gentlemen. Watch The Wire. Right? It's on Prime. I think it's on Prime Video too. It's on Prime. You can get it on Prime. I think they got all the seasons on Prime. Make sure you go check it out. All right. Julito is primary actor on The Wire, so make sure that you go check it out. I've watched every single season. As a matter of fact, me and my wife sat down just a few months ago and watched every single episode just because. You know what I mean? But Josh, go ahead, man. You want to say something? Okay, so Sam, I agree with you about 90% of what you said. And the 10% that I don't agree with you was about the fact that these stopgap players can necessarily help the team as far as creating a winning culture, right? So the biggest reason why we're having this conversation about Alfred Payne is because the Knicks don't have an adequate enough roster to go ahead and be able to figure out who the best point guard is going to be or the best guard is going to be. It's up to management
to put that roster together. And I've been saying this for the longest time. It's a player-driven league. The players dictate whether you win or not the coaches. We've had Hall of Fame coaches coming here. We've had Hall of Fame, Phil Jackson, all these guys coming here to an organization. The organization has still been bad. Okay, it needs to be the players. The management needs to put a good roster on the floor full of good veterans and a group of young kids to drive development, and the development needs to drive winning. That needs to go hand in hand. You can't have one or the other. You have to have both of them. And I feel like this Knicks roster lacks talent. It needs more talent in order to be successful. I've always been saying that. No. And I feel that if RJ Barrett and Mitchell Robinson and Obi Toppin were to play with a good veteran, a superstar veteran, I think that would do way more for their development than going out losing by 20 points a night.
Okay, but here's the thing. I do agree that this team needs more talent. But I also feel like Tom Thibodeau is the kind of coach that will be able to take the players that they have, and instead of playing based on talent, you play like, you've heard the players say, we've got to outwork teams because we don't have the same talent. We got to try to be smarter because we don't have the same talent. And I think that's the way, that's what he's going to instill in these guys. And then, like Guillermo and I were discussing last night on Legion of Knicks, it's not going to be about trying to utilize, you're going to utilize guys' talents. Let me not say that. But you're really going to say, this is your role. I need you to go out and get 10 rebounds, this guy. I need you to go out and block 3 shots a night. I need you to go out and be a defender, right? I need you to be a facilitator. I need you to do this. So everybody has their role and their pieces that fit inside the puzzle, right? And that's the way a team that lacks talent, in my opinion, can be more successful, right? By trying to utilize everybody's skill and telling people, you be a superstar in your role. Not a superstar overall, be a star in your role. So if I'm telling you, Mitch, I need you to grab 10 rebounds a night, go grab 12. And be a star in your role. If I'm telling you I need you to block 3 shots a game, go block 4. Be a star in your role. You understand what I'm saying? And you get people pinpointed into focusing on that thing that they can do very, very well, and then it adds to an overall team. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the way when you have a team that lacks talent, because I do agree with you. We have some talented players, but we don't have the same talent as, when you look at our division, right? You got super talent in our division. But that's the way I think that you get past not having talent, by everybody playing their role and playing together.
Yo, Sid.
Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
What'd you say?
Fred VanVleet is in the chat. I don't know if that's the real him, but look. He looked legit.
I don't know.
No, it's not the real him.
I don't think that's the real one. I don't think that's the real one. That's somebody who uses logo and all that kind of stuff. But go ahead, Josh.
Sam, so to respond to what you said, and this is why you're absolutely right. That needs to happen. That does need to come from the coaching staff. That, pushing players to play their role and to be great in their role. However, that needs to come from within the locker room. And if you don't have the players to be able to go out and do that, then we're just going in circles. Okay, so this is why I want the Knicks to be a little bit more aggressive and going to go trade for someone and bring somebody in this locker room that can help us win games, because I feel like that is going to be the biggest thing for development, us going out to win games. And if we lack talent to do so, then there's no point. What exactly are we talking about? We can talk about Mitchell Robinson going out there and his potential to go out and get 12 rebounds a game and 5 blocks, and RJ Barrett, shooting, let's say 45% from the field and 39% from 3-point range. That's his potential. But if there's no players around him that can actually do that and can actually help the team win and put RJ Barrett in those meaningful situations where the game is on the line, then what are we talking about? How is he ever going to be able to get that type of development? So this is why I'm putting it on the management to go out and make the roster competitive. I do believe in development, but at the same time, you have to win games, and that goes hand in hand. And this is why I'm holding Leon Rose accountable.
Okay, all right. Let me throw out a couple of super chats, man. Julian Tran, thank you for the super chat. You said, "Yo, Sim, who knows you more, Mark or Joe?" Neither one of them, man. Neither one of them. We just enjoy arguing sometimes. All right. Die Hard Knicks podcast. You said, "Who's Mark?" Is saying, "You think starting Payton is a good idea?" And Sim is, shh.
I'm not the moderator. What can I do if I'm not the moderator?
and then Michael White, thank you for becoming a member, man. We appreciate you. We're gonna have some for members. We're gonna begin having some game nights for members, man. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be dope. Excited, man. Listen, it's starting already. We haven't even got to the first preseason game. Imagine what it's gonna be like when the season starts. It's gonna be, you know, especially from the beginning. We haven't gotten to watch we haven't been able to watch basketball for all this time, and it's gonna be explosive, Andy. I can already feel it. It's gonna be explosive.
So Andy, Sam, unmute Andy.
Let me get it. It's gonna be explosive, Andy. Yep. Yeah, you on mute? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, just, I was going to add what Josh said about building the squad. It's a really long process to build a good team. It's not like you can just go, fishing on the free agency and build a squad for a couple of years to be good, right? Even if you go and try to sign one or two max free agents, it's not always going to pan out, and it's not going to be probably long term. So, you get, like we always said, you have to have the base, then you build up.
I'm going to tell you why that Westbrook thing didn't happen, because Houston was asking the Knicks for a whole lot. That's what it was. So that Russell Westbrook, I didn't think that was going to happen, because the way Houston was acting, the Knicks wasn't giving up. And I'm glad
Let me ask you guys a question. Let me ask you guys a question. This is for the entire chat, Sim, if you allow me to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why did the Knicks why did the Knicks create $40 million in cap space 2 years in a row? Why did they do that?
Why? So that they can have the options to make a move when it presents itself.
So you would, okay, for $40 million, though, $40 million. So you're saying, Sim, that the Knicks needed $40 million in order to create flexibility. You don't think they were trying to go out and get someone?
I think, I mean, it's just me. I mean, maybe they were, but if the Knicks didn't feel like Russell Westbrook was worth what Houston was wanting, right, then why make the move? Like, if you have $150 in your pocket and you see a pair of sneakers and you're like, I don't think these are worth $150, you're not gonna buy them just because. You're gonna wait until you get the pair that you feel is worth $150.
Point taken. Point taken. I'm not talking about the Russell Westbrook trade specifically. What I'm saying is the mindset of the organization. They created $40 million in cap space 2 years in a row because they wanted to go out and improve the roster, which was a good thing, but they were not able to. Okay, but Knicks fans are acting like if you bring in anybody of superstar status, let's say James Harden or whoever that's available in free agency, that's a big name, that is going to be a bad thing for the kids. What I'm saying is, obviously, the organization doesn't feel the same way. That's why they created the cap space. That's the reason why they made the cap space in the first place.
Josh, let me ask you a question. If James Harden was available for the Knicks, you would go for him?
No, because I believe it'll cost too much. But I can speak James Harden out there. No, listen.
That's why the Knicks sat down.
Mark, you're not understanding what I'm saying. You're not understanding what I'm saying. I'm talking about the mindset of the organization. They created $40 million in cap space 2 years in a row. Not just this year, but they did it last year as well. And this upcoming season in 2021, that offseason, they're looking to sign a big free agent name as well. But for some reason, somehow...
You have to start somewhere after you've been bad for 2 decades, so you have to start somewhere. 2, you have to think about the NBA players wanting to come play here. The Knicks could want whoever they want, but it's up to the players where they want to play. You don't see how the NBA is dictated right now by players? They're going
Mark, I get all of that. I get all of that. Everything you're saying is valid. I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying. What I'm talking about is the organization was the mindset of the organization. And I want to go out and I want the team to be aggressive in the free agent market. Forget trades for a second. Let's talk free agents. That's what the $40 million in cap space is for. Okay. The team, they wanted to be aggressive, but nobody wanted to take their money. But Knicks fans are acting like if you bring in anybody of that caliber to the team, that is going to be a bad thing for the kids. And what I'm saying is that's not the case because Leon Rose and those guys wants to bring in somebody like that. That's why they saved the cap space in the first place.
Listen, I understand that. Like, so for example, bringing in Westbrook, right? Houston was asking for something that the Knicks didn't want to give up, which is which is okay. But if you're going to bring in someone like that, but you don't want to mortgage certain things because you're moving in a different path, and Westbrook is in a different timeline, okay? So you don't want to bring someone like that here. That's why that Wall trade was similar good, because he could go play with someone that's more in his timeline. None of these young guys are in his timeline. So what the Knicks said to themselves, listen, I'm going to wait this out, and I'm going to wait till one of these other stars lower than 25 is ready to get up out of here, or a team is looking to trade one of their young talent, young thoroughbreds, so we could be in place. So just say, for example, Karl Anthony Towns was available. He'd be perfect because he's 25 years old. He's in perfect timeline. I have the assets I have the assets to move for him. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to move my assets for a 31, 32-year-old guy. I'm not
as far as that particular Westbrook trade is concerned, I'm not going to harp too much on Westbrook. I'm just talking about the overall philosophy, right? You act like it's something wrong with having a group of 25-year-old players on the team, and then you have one 30-something-year-old. There's nothing wrong with that, Mark.
Yeah,
that guy does not ruin that guy does not ruin your development. He enhances your development because he's a veteran. That's what we're talking about.
So they wanted Gordon Hayward, right? You see how Gordon Hayward costs. The Knicks said, yo, here, we give you a 2-year deal. He said no, right? So the Knicks are calling around or talking to free agency. We're just waiting for them to take our deal. We're not going to take their deal because giving Gordon Hayward $120 million was probably one of the worst things ever.
Okay. Well, so listen. This debate can go on forever, right?
Yeah.
So let's get back to the focus on tonight's preseason game. Before we do that, though, let's take a look at the schedule, the first half of the schedule, because the Knicks have a tough schedule, the first half, right?
You know, my team, the first 20.
Let's take a look at them because it's tough, right? So this is the Knicks schedule coming up, and I'm gonna pause this just a little bit, right, while it's up here, so that we can read all of the, everything that's up here. All right, so this is the 2020-2021 schedule, and I'm gonna stop this. I'm gonna pause this right here. I think I paused it. Maybe I didn't pause it. Hold on.
I got it.
Let me get it paused. Let me pause it right there. I'm gonna rewind it just a little bit and get it to where I want it. All right. Now, I'm going to read these out. Tell me what you guys think about this schedule here. We start off with Indiana.
That could be a
tough
win.
game. It could be. We got to see what they're doing. Then we play Philadelphia. We play Milwaukee. We play Cleveland.
That's a win.
All right. We play Toronto. We play Indiana again. We play Atlanta. Hold up. You don't have to say it yet. Hold up. We play Utah, Oklahoma City, Denver, Charlotte, Brooklyn, Cleveland. In the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the first month of basketball, or month and the first couple of weeks of basketball, we play a good number of playoff teams.
I'll say 4. I'll say 4 or 5.
4 or 5 wins. Yeah, I hope so. Indiana, possibly a playoff team. Philadelphia, Milwaukee, Toronto, I'm thinking it's probably going to be a playoff team. Should be. Atlanta, I think in the beginning of the season, maybe they're a little bit iffy. Utah. Hold up. Utah. I don't know what to expect from OKC. Denver's a playoff team. Maybe Charlotte's going to be better. We'll see if they're a playoff team. Brooklyn. So it's kind of a tough schedule.
I'm always going to give the chance against Brooklyn. So that could be a win. Forget that.
And then you move on. You got Boston, Orlando, Golden State, who they're going to be a good team this year. Sacramento, Portland, Utah, Cleveland, Clippers. You play Chicago back-to-back. Play Portland again. You play Miami back-to-back. You play Washington, who just got a lot better. Houston, Atlanta again, Orlando, San Antonio, Minnesota. I don't know about Minnesota. Golden State, Sacramento, Indiana, Detroit, San Antonio. It's not an easy schedule to begin with.
Yo, they did us dirty, bro.
You know, it's not an easy schedule to begin with, man.
Just like the chat say,
You're breaking up. I can't hear what you're saying.
I said, just like the chat would say, after looking at this, fade for K.
But guys, you got to remember, we're still going to have the second part of the season, and just think about the teams that we don't even have on this part of the schedule, which means we're going to play in the other part, right? We didn't have the Lakers. We don't have the Suns. We have only the Clippers ones, right? So the second part of the schedule isn't going to be that light. So, you know, it's when you look at the schedule and you think, okay, this is going to be a loss, it's going to be a loss, it's going to be a win. This means because you know the worth of the current Knicks situation. So, you know, when you think about it compared to other teams, we don't look that really good. So we feel like, you know, we're going to be 500 after this part of the season.
Well, I'll tell you what, if we're 500 after this first part of the season, I'm happy.
I'm going to be happy too, bro. But I'm just saying that, you know, that it's probably not going to happen.
Okay. All right. I was going to say, if we 500 at the end of that first part of the season, boy, bro, I'll be super happy. Shoot.
I'll take 500 after 20 games, bro.
If we're 500 at that point, that was a successful season from there on. That's a successful season from there on. If we 500.
Can I just say something? I think one thing that a lot of people aren't realizing is that I think what was it, 90 days or like 70 days in between the end of last season and to the beginning of this season. That's the shortest time in NBA history as far as turnaround is concerned for, you know, one season going into the next. So God forbid, I hope this doesn't happen, but there's going to be a lot of injuries, and you know, for the teams that you know played in the bubble. You know, we don't want to see injuries or guys get truly hurt, but there's going to be a lot of injuries and a lot of guys are going to be out. So I got
a lot of load management.
Hold on. One at a time. I'm not sure how many games. One at a time. Let Josh finish.
I think that's probably going to be the only way that the Knicks can actually pull off something like that, some sort of 500 record when we talk about freak injuries, and or if they go out and get someone else and add him to the roster, or if Obi Toppin has the type of rookie season that I kind of wanted RJ Barrett to have last season, where he comes out and he's out the gate scoring 20 points, 10 and 7-8 rebounds. You know what I mean? That's what I want the Knicks to do. And if they go in that direction and Obi Toppin breaks out and RJ Barrett becomes more of an efficient scorer, then combined with the COVID thing and guys getting hurt, then the Knicks can pull off some type of 500 season. But outside of that kind of miracle, it's not happening. I don't think so.
Yeah. Go ahead, Joe.
If I'm looking at the first 20 games, 10 and 20. 10 and 20.
How are you 10 and 20 in the first 20 games?
No, I mean, my bad. My bad. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Go ahead, Joe.
I think that we might be able to get some wins against playoff teams when you think about it back-to-backs, or like you're going to have a lot of them playoff teams that were in the bubble on load managing players, especially when you look at like the Heat were in the final. They might have some games where they're going to like sit Jimmy Butler and sit some guys. You're going to have Brooklyn are going to be very careful this year with KD and Kyrie coming off injuries. So we can sneak wins, but we just have to win the games that we should be winning. And if we can pull off like sneaking wins because of load management and, as Josh said, injuries and stuff, I think we can be okay. But just looking at the schedule, it's brutal.
Joe, I don't think Kevin Durant's a load manager. He plays. He's not that type of player to load manage, bro.
No,
He's
but
in Miami.
Yeah, but I think Brooklyn are going to be careful, especially with him and Kyrie. They're going to be careful because they're going to want to keep these guys and make sure these guys are healthy for the playoffs. They're not going to go out and try and put all the load, and next thing they come into the playoffs and they're worn out, especially when KD come off like that injury and he didn't play last year.
Well, KD been out for 2 years. I don't think he's going to want to sit out one game. KD make the rule. So if he sits out, that's probably he said, I'm going to sit out. Other than that, I don't think they're going to tell him sit out. I think he's going to play.
A lot of teams that are going to go into the playoffs, they're going to look at the Knicks as a team that they can afford to sit guys on.
But when you look at that first half, but Joe, when you look at that first half, the first half that we have, there's no team that's going to be. You got to understand, these teams are fighting for a position, bro. Yeah. Teams are fighting to be good. So I don't see low management in the first 20 games where I call every year. The first 20 games will tell you your whole season. So in that case, I don't see no low management from none of those teams. These teams are trying to get better so they can get their teams better. So in the future time, they can get free agency. Teams like Cleveland, they got to figure themselves out. They're going to want to play hard. You know what I'm saying? The Wizards going to want to play hard. Miami's going to play hard. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Chicago got a new coach. They're going to want to play hard. You got a lot of teams that's went out there and proved themselves right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. The first maybe 30 games, you're not going to have too much, but getting closer into the later half of that first half of the schedule and then the second half of the schedule, teams that are already got more or less kind of guaranteed their playoff spot or where they're at are going to start resting guys going down the stretch.
But I'm going to say this, though.
And
because
NBA just relaxed the NBA just relaxed that rule.
Yeah, because we have
I was going to say, I got 4 things to say.
Yeah, go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, first thing is that the teams are going to get fined if players are going to be sitting out TV games. That doesn't hurt the Knicks, though, because the Knicks only have 1 TV game in the first half of the schedule. So we're not going to be having resting guys versus us, right? So,
Andy, the NBA just relaxed that rule. The NBA just relaxed that rule. They got rid of that rule for this specific season. That's what I was talking about.
No, but I think they did it especially for this season.
Nah, they have to have like an injury. They have to have like an injury for them to have
like a real injury.
Relax. They got rid of that rule completely for this season. They got rid of that rule.
Josh, I think they didn't do it, but they gave the NBA teams about $30 million for the fines. So something like that.
Right. Okay. They just gave them like $30 million.
Yeah, and I was like, man, those fines have to be high, bro, because $30 million for sitting your stars out, they can still afford it, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
It's
we'll
going to be rough.
Well, look, guys, I'm gonna head off so I can start getting ready for because at 6:30, I'm jumping back on.
Show?
Well, at 6:30, we're doing the we're just gonna.
Yo, I want to get on.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. I got a call on there. Go ahead, man. My bad. I almost forgot all about my man. Go ahead. I'm glad you said something, bro. Go ahead.
Hey, what's up, Sam?
I'm good,
what's up,
man.
guys? I'm first-time caller. I appreciate what you guys do. And I'm really excited for today's preseason game. I'm very happy with the work Leon Rose did, getting all these guys together. I'm talking about the office because I'll tell you one thing. They got James Dolan in check because I'm telling you, James Dolan would have jumped on that Russell Westbrook if it was somebody else in charge just to get some ticket sales. Honestly,
facts.
I love what's going on over here. We're setting examples for other teams to see, and maybe players will want to come and see that we have a legit foundation over here. We trust in our players. We're building them up, and we're doing what we have to do. Well, that's all I gotta say. I'm a little nervous. The first time I'm talking.
You good, bro. You good. Look, so you say you're a little bit nervous, and then I forget about you. That can't help. My bad. But thank you for being patient, though. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, I didn't know the process. I didn't even know you were hearing me or something. I was laughing at some of the things you guys were saying. Yeah, Josh, take it easy, Josh, man. Let the season start, bro. How you gonna go for Russell Westbrook, bro? Like, he's like 31. He's gonna fuck up our cap. I'm sorry for my language.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate that.
How are people gonna want to come over here? We have to grow what we have. I mean, we've been doing this for years, but we finally got a guy we could trust. Tom Thibodeau been in the league for us, longer than you've been old. You know what I'm saying? He has experience. We trust in him. Whoever he puts, even if he puts Michael Kidd Gilchrist, trust it. It's for a reason. To start, which I don't think he will, but that's how much I trust Thibodeau.
But you trust him,
whatever
okay.
decision he makes, I trust it. And, let's have a great season. And Mark, if we get 400% in that schedule, it's a success. Not 500. 400. That schedule is tough.
It is a tough schedule.
I'm happy they come in as hard so we can see what we got. I want that hard stuff. I don't want pause. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that soft schedule. I want that hard schedule. I want to see what we got. I want to get out and grind,
All right. Well, hopefully they ready for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey,
By the way,
hey,
I'm Kenny.
Kenny.
Hopefully, I get to talk to you guys a little more during the season. And
come back, bro.
Blessings.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you for being patient too, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Sim.
Later, guys. You're neglecting your fans, bro.
Yeah.
What you doing, bro?
I forgot he was on the call because he can listen in and he can hear everything that we're talking about, so he can hear the show.
Yeah.
While he was on there. But anyway, I'm heading out, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you guys. We will be back at 6:30, so make sure you come check us out at 6:30 as we're gonna, we're just gonna be watching the game together. We're just gonna have a watch party, basically.
Sim, I ain't gonna front. Being out of the chat and stuff like that and watching y'all guys, Josh, I really felt how the people in the chat felt about you, bro. It made me look different at you now, bro. I'm sorry. I liked you, Josh, but the last couple of shows, I was irate. I was really irate. But it's okay. We all have our times, but I understand how the chat feels when it comes to you. Salute to the chat.
Right.
Salute to everybody.
Hey, I'm putting NBKfam.com, man. I'm putting it in the chat. Go ahead and check that out, ladies and gentlemen. There's a nice article.
Shout out to Evergreen.
Hold up.
Shout out to Evergreen.
Hold on, let me finish. There's a nice article, a couple of nice articles on there that you guys gonna like. Josh got an article up there. Make sure you go check it out. I just posted an article. Yep, I just posted an article about this puzzle piece that Tom Thibodeau has. So go ahead and check that out, man. It's nbkfam.com. And I actually just put it in the chat, and I'm pinning it to the top of the chat, of the YouTube chat. But we about to get up out of here, man.
Evergreen went in.
So we can get ready. Yeah, Evergreen went in. He did.
Yeah, I'm glad he did that because he's putting people out there on notice because, some of these writers are just ridiculous. They are just ridiculous. Shout out to Evergreen. Shout out to the movement. Shout out to the movement. See you at 6:30.
All right, 6:30, man, 6:30. We're going to have a good time. Peace, ladies and gentlemen. I'll catch y'all at 6:30.
I love you, Andy.
See you, Mark.